Saudi Arabia's King Abdullah is announcing that women will be allowed to vote and even run for municipal office. But the change does not take place until 2015, and just 2 municipal elections have been held in the past 50 years in Saudi Arabia. King Abdullah's announcement comes after consulting with the nation's clerics. And joining me now to talk about this and put it in perspective, David Keyes, executive director and contributor for the Daily Beast. We've had you on before. We've talked about some of the very important issues facing the women in Saudi Arabia. But you say that this is only a leap from an F minus to an F plus. That's nothing.
It is nothing. And the reason I said that is because the same week that the king made his announcement about allowing women to run and vote in municipal elections, a woman by the name of Najla al-Hariri was taken in for questioning and indeed will be tried for supporting Saudi women drivers. The same week that this announcement was made, Abdul Hamid al-Fakki was beheaded in Saudi Arabia for the crime of sorcery. So while there has been a little bit of progress, it's not nearly enough. And if you imagine the sort of campaign that a woman will have to run, if she wants to campaign, a man will still have to drive her to the ballot box. If she wants to step inside entire cities, if she's not a Muslim, she won't be allowed to. So there's a lot more progress that needs to be made.
But obviously this is played out internationally. I looked at several headlines, women have the right to vote, and then you read further down and you see all of the criteria that must be met and how it is not a wide sweeping right to vote here. So you wonder the timing here. We've seen the Arab Spring pushed by young people. Is there a worry that the women and the voices of women will cry out louder and get more support from international communities like in the States?
Well, we certainly hope so. And if you look at some of the more dangerous aspects of the Saudi regime, and you just take one example, and that is the whipping of women, part of this is an attempt to remove the concentration from these brutal practices. And I'd like to make a little bit of history here with you today, and for the first time show an actual Saudi whip that is used to whip women here on the show. And every time the words moderation and Saudi Arabia are used in conjunction with each other, I want everyone to think about Sausan Salim, who was sentenced to 300 lashes merely for walking outside of her home without a male guardian. And they should think about Khamisa Sawadi, who was sentenced to lashes as well, even at 75 years old, merely for walking around with men who are not her relative. And that's outrageous.
And we know that also expressed outrage is coming in toward the United States, who many say and believe still supports this king and these laws that allow a woman to be whipped with the very thing you're holding there.
Well, if you want a dichotomy, you can read in last week's Newsweek the article by one of our board members, Toni Morrison, the Nobel Prize winner, about the whipping of women. And at the same time, the United States has sold $60 billion worth of arms to this theocratic, gender apartheid, repressive, discriminatory dictatorship. And so we can start by treating the ambassador in Washington the same way that the Saudi government treats women. If he wants to leave the country, he should need a woman's permission, and he shouldn't be allowed to drive so long as women in Saudi Arabia are forbidden from driving.
Well, David Keyes, thank you very much for coming on, executive director and contributor for the Daily Beast. Great pleasure, as always, having you on. We always learn so much from you, David. Thank you.